This is from a reference photo. Hello, my name is Jasmine. I'm an illustrator working on a medieval comic. Welcome to my channel. For today's video, I have another product I would like to try out, and I've actually been playing around with it for a while, but I think I'm ready to try making an illustration with them. As I mentioned, these are not my first acrylic markers. The ones I'm going to be trying out today is the 90 set from Arrtx. These are non-toxic, they're odorless, they're waterproof, they're very versatile like most acrylic markers on the market. One of the things that Arrtx always sets themselves apart from their competitors, because there are a ton of acrylic markers in the market, their packaging is always top-notch. So for this one, the markers fit inside a plastic grid and they just sit there. You can have them on your desk without the cover and it still looks really nice. I mentioned that this is their landscape color set, so we have 90 colors, many of which are natural leaning, like olives and several colors for skies, which is really nice because if you're looking to do some plein air painting with acrylics and you don't want to carry a bunch of paint tubes, these would be great for travel. My only caveat with these acrylic markers and any acrylic markers is that they're not great at mixing. I learned that from my last video working with acrylic markers, and I also learned it working with these. The actual marker is very light to hold. It comes in a plastic tube and the cap isn't super hard to take on and off, and you don't need to shake it, so you just uncap and paint. That's it. The nib itself is cotton, which is standard now, so the ink does flow really smoothly. You're not going to get chunky bits of paint coming out. Like all sets of any art supplies, I had to rearrange them to my own liking, and then I made a swatch with all the colors, and yeah, they came out really vibrant. I found the selection of colors to be excellent. So in total, in my sketching journey with these markers, let me go back to, there's some empty pages because I haven't had a chance to fill them in. I did swatch them out on my sketchbook and then tried to sketch with them for a while. This is my uncle and my grandma's kitchen. This is my grandma. They do not look like this in real life. I did not do a good job of getting their essence, but I had just started trying them out. Dog. Here's a balcony. I tried to do a more graphic style where it's just one layer of color. This is from a reference photo, another graphic style. These are both from different references. This is from a photograph of a snowy scene, which you really can't tell. I don't think I did a very good job. That's supposed to be like a creek. It's not really very legible. This is from a painting, so more of an art study. Hard to get any gradients with these. This is from a photo, I'm assuming, of a skyscraper in Singapore. This is from a sunset in LA. Also not very legible. It's not very nice. And then a few days I skipped. And this is from a reference photo. This was a lot of fun because of all the different colors. And it was my first actual attempt painting an art piece solely with these acrylic markers and not with that medieval challenge that I had done in my previous video. This one was fun to make because of the bright colors. So you could achieve a painterly look, but it's gonna wanna look graphic. Oh, and this is Future Jasmine. I wanted to show you one more study that I did of these pomelo lemons that were on the table. I enjoyed using the acrylic markers more when I mixed them with other art supplies. So here I used multicolored pen on top of the marker. And that was a lot more enjoyable than just using the marker itself. If you recall from my last art vlog, I actually already tried acrylic markers, but those were from Woomer, so I'm trying out Arrtx acrylic markers. And because I've already done some of the illustrations solely using them, I would like to just have fun making an illustration my way, using any of the supplies I feel like to make this illustration, having no constraints, but of course I will be using these in the process. I want to be less strict because that last art vlog had a very specific constraint of trying to make it look medieval. This time around, I've had this idea for an illustration that I would love to try out, and I think it would be a lot of fun to create it with all of my supplies. That's where I'm at. I'm a little nervous because, as always, the idea of doing something with traditional art supplies is a lot more fun than actually executing upon it, because yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, and having a camera on me is, the expectation is that it's supposed to be a good piece of art at the end of this video, so I can't promise that. I don't know. I'm a little nervous, but that's where we're at. What I had in mind for this illustration was this. I created this thumbnail a few days ago. I had this idea for a while for chapter 5. I'm currently working on chapter 4, so this would be referencing the next chapter. It's dramatic. There's fire, smoke, all the knights are in their armor. The composition itself is more like a movie poster, so it's not a literal scene, it's more the idea of chapter 5. I think working on an illustration of a future chapter would also be good for my comic in terms of marketing, so that people can see what's ahead. So that means we're gonna move the party to the drawing desk. It's a little chilly. It's gonna start raining tonight. I don't know why I'm mentioning that to you, but it's LA. When it rains, it's pretty rare. We're gonna put our current comic page work away. Oh, I actually thought I could not find this. I'm gonna put my productivity timer, 40 minutes. It'll definitely be more than that, but it'll be recording that. And there you go. We can start. What is that? It's a butt?
Your eyes are really good, aren't they? Gotta separate these cartoons.
Someone got spaded and is recovering. She's doing pretty good. Still working on this. I need to do this and then add the smoke and flames, which is going to be the hardest part, so I'm not going to think about it for now. Just need to draw the rest of the knights. Drawing is done. I will figure out what to do with that thing later. It's Monday night, so I'm gonna start winding down. We'll circle back to this drawing. I've been putting it on this bowl so she can actually reach it because of the cone. It seems to be working. God, look at these dishes. I've been doing a lot of cooking for meal prepping and stuff for my husband's lunches, and I let the dishes pile so I can put them all in the dishwasher. So this is after 2 days. So I think I got a good pile going to throw in the dishwasher today. But man, is that horrible to look at. For once, I am going to change out of my PJs before I sit down and do some work in the morning. I'm still very sleepy. It's 7 a.m. Really need to jump on this to finish. I'm having the line art dilemma. So the other day you saw me finish this drawing. How do I color it traditionally? Because I can't do it on this drawing paper. That line art needs to be transferred to paper that can handle water. That's where my dilemma is. Do I hand trace this line art onto this using a light box, this, or try the lazy method, which is scan this and use the printer on watercolor paper? But there are two unknowns in that method. I don't know if my printer can handle this thick paper, and I don't know if printer ink can handle water. Like, is it going to smear once I start putting watercolor over it? It does smear when I put alcohol markers, but I don't know if that's the alcohol interacting with the printer ink or water. It's harmless to just try it. So I'm going to scan this and print it on watercolor paper because I really am curious if that actually works. Yeah, my desk is looking messy for my own standards. For Valentine's Day, we went to a few thrift stores and I bought this crochet hat and the last book of this series. I've been wanting to pick up a small crochet project to take with me when I visit my grandma or when I'm watching TV with the husband. Some of these hats are really cute and they don't look too hard to make. I just need to match what yarn I have with the patterns. Like, I don't know if it's the right gauge and all that, so there is a little bit of homework that I need to do before I can actually start crocheting. But I'm excited to work with my hands and do something fun again. I used to crochet and knit a lot years ago. I have this out to do taxes. I got jury duty next month. I have an order from Coffee Monsters Co. that arrived the other day. I haven't had a chance to open it, so I'm saving that as a treat. And yeah, there's stuff behind the Labubu that I need to organize. So I definitely feel like I'm a little bit of a mess lately. A little bit overwhelmed, but we're getting there. It's scanned. I'm gonna darken the lines before I try the actual printing. Goes nothing. Go. Can it handle thick paper? Wow. Okay, it did a really shitty printing job, but that's okay. Yeah, this is pretty bad. We went from that to that. Got my leftover coffee. I have a Stanley full of iced water and a little bit of body armor. That'll be the start of this painting session. Start. I did say watercolors, so I'm gonna pull out my watercolors. Water reservoir. I always keep a little bottle of water here because I am indeed lazy to go to the bathroom and get water. We're trying to reduce as much friction as possible. Extra napkins for blotting. Actually, you guys, I just noticed the way this printed, it left a ton of room at the bottom, but hardly any at the top, and this should be lower. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to reprint it. Alright, I'm back. It's been like half an hour, maybe? Almost 45 minutes. This is the original printout. So then I reprinted it on normal computer paper, and then I recropped it, so I added more space at the top. This is the final one. I also printed it on scrap paper. Finally done. This is what it should look like. But that does leave me with two printouts. While this was printing and I was fixing all that, I was playing around with the watercolors and also testing how much the printer ink smudges. It does smudge a little bit, so I'll have to be careful going over the lines, especially in the more darker areas like her hair. I don't think it's that big of a problem. Look at Edward's face. The bright side of this challenge is that I did print this out, so if I mess it up, I can just reprint it again. I've been playing around with this enough. I really should get going. Almost there. I say almost, but really there's so much work left because the background needs to be painted and then the details need to be fixed. Because it's such a small piece when it comes to watercolor, there's not a lot of definition, so from afar it looks great, but you get a little closer and it's a little mushy. I am gonna have to go in for the line art. I'm learning so much though. It has been a good exercise. I just wish it looked better. I think I should do the smoke first because it's lighter and then do the darkest afterwards. I think that's a good watercolor strategy. The dark is looking great, but I forgot I was supposed to do the smoke first. So these smoke clouds need to be done. The problem with that is if this dark stuff gets touched with water, it's going to affect the color I already put down. How did I forget that? My mind just wandered. So I'm going to put the gray down on this one, but carefully on the edges. I'm gonna try not to touch that dark stuff. Hello. It is very bright. It's the next day, it's Friday, happy Friday. I went to the gym in the morning, bought groceries, made breakfast, showered, and I'm back here. And it's 1 o'clock already, so we don't have a full day anymore. I want to finish this. Sorry about all the noise. That's right, Julia, it's Friday. Huh, pretty girl. All that's left is to make this better. So that includes adjusting the values by adding more darks in the areas that need to be darkened, adding more details to the things that are blurry, like Eduard's face. It's not quite clear his features, like where is his nose? Especially Boniface's face. The ways to improve it, I don't think I'll go in with watercolors anymore. I've got colored pencils, the acrylic markers for this video, and my alcohol markers. They're all actually from Arrtx. I'm going to use all of those tools to finish this illustration. I feel like the alcohol markers are adding extra saturation of color to the watercolor. So maybe it's just a me problem, but my watercolors, once I'm done using them, the piece comes out not very bright. This came out beautiful, the background, but everyone else came out a little bit muted. What's really nice about being able to go over with alcohol markers is that you can very subtly bring that color back. So for example, Rodrigo's tunic is supposed to be a bright baby blue like that. And this is not quite there. So I'm going to use a pastel alcohol marker blue to just lightly go over his tunic and see if I can bring back some of that color. Look at that. It's almost like I painted that. Kind of feels like cheating. I used some blue to add more color depth to Alice's tunic, and it definitely pops out more. So I've never tried alcohol markers on a watercolor piece, so this is new for me, and it's totally working, you guys. I'm not totally mad at this. Yeah, this is the spot I'm gonna choose to end this video. My thoughts on the Arrtx acrylic markers. I'm looking at them over there. I should have grabbed them. Like most of their products that I've had a chance to try out, pretty solid acrylic markers. The thing though of why this video was kind of weird for me, because I didn't really use the markers as much as I would have liked to in the watercolor piece. I just don't need them. Some art supplies are more useful in your workflow than others, and in trying out these acrylic markers, I'm learning more and more that I am just not an acrylic marker girly. Really, the only use I could find them is their portability. At least in my workflow, I can grab and go and be able to make painterly stuff with them when I'm not here. But if I'm here and I need to use some kind of opaque paint, then I just actually use acrylic and be able to mix the colors that I want, and more importantly, control the transparency, because that's my biggest gripe with these acrylic markers, is that they are so opaque that I can't mix anything with them. So you're stuck with a very specific graphic style in using them, and that's just not me. So that's my ultimate conclusion with the acrylic markers from Arrtx. They're great markers for good selection of colors. As always, their packaging is top-notch and aesthetic, so no complaints here on the actual product. I learned in using them that I don't really need them, so do what you will with that. If you're considering acrylic markers, especially since we're seeing them everywhere in social media, including here in this video, I would think carefully about your workflow and really consider, do you need them? Don't jump into new art supplies just because they're being hyped. Genuinely consider if you need them. I really could just be using tubed acrylics for the most part. Don't really need them in marker form. I hope you found this video interesting or fun. Let me know what you think about the art piece, about acrylic markers, about your workflow in general, trying out new art supplies. It's always a mix of excitement and stress. As always, I'm shocked when things come out okay in terms of art pieces like these. And I should say this more because I forget. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell to get notified every time I come out with a new video. What's next is I'll be working really hard on finishing chapter 4. I'll be stuck on the drawing desk for the next month. If you want to see what I draw and all the comic pages, I'll be posting them all on my Patreon. It's available for just $1, so come hang out with me and everyone who's into this story, and I'll be finishing chapter 4 very soon. I will be vlogging some of that progress, so I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!